What's your name? Where'd you come from?
Aaron Friedman, and I came in from Tel Aviv.
What's your favourite colour?
Let's say blue.
Interesting. What star sign are you?
Oh, what?
Star sign.
Star sign?
I,
Capricorn.
it's going well. Okay, so I'll let you hold the microphone, Aaron, and go for it. Your top tip for the day.
So, my top tip for the day. So, one thing that I've been doing a lot that's been pretty successful is compiling data from many sources into one source. So, for example, if I'm doing a review on the best movies, right? And I want to do the best sports movies, I would find 10 sources that have the sports movies. I would take some kind of average of all of them and create a nice data set on that and turn that into some sort of infographic or turn that into some sort of slideshare or something that I can share referencing those people and getting some nice links from it, getting some nice content that's actually based on someone else's data, so creating data from data.
Sounds like a good tip to me. A round of applause for Aaron's tip there. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name's Shelley.
Yeah, I've heard a Yoda impression. Can you do the Yoda impression, Shelley?
Possibly. Do or do not. There is no try.
And that's Shelley's tip so far, isn't it?
So my tip is I am repurposing from my speech earlier. As I said, there are no ideas, so actually combining two old ideas together to make a new idea is where it's at. And one really great way to do this is by using an ideas wall, and this can really help in your campaigns. Take all your reference material, print it out, arrange it on a big wall, and then you want to think like detective show, like Homelands, if anybody saw that. Colour up all the different groups, and then use pins and string to link the different pieces of research together, and that's when you can start to see random ideas bring random ideas together to create a new idea. It's really great for content, and as I said in my speech, I did write an article about it on Moz in depth, which you can do a bit more reading if you want.
Do you also use a glass wall and use a whiteboard marker at the same time?
Glass wall, what as in?
Like on the TV cop shows where they do it on a glass wall.
I was just thinking like Tom Cruise.
Cool, fantastic. Big round of applause for Shelley's tip there. The wall of ideas. Don't know why I did that at the same time, but it felt kind of appropriate. Hello. Hello. What's your name?
My name's Matt.
What's your middle name, Matt Roberts?
You wouldn't believe what my middle name is. Jesse!
You learn something new every day. Matt. And your tip for the day?
I've got three little ones, well maybe one of them's big. First one is...
That's what she said.
First one is with any sales guys in there. So I had a call with LinkedIn last week, and their sales guy wanted me to buy one of their mega premium accounts, and I didn't realise you could buy for a few bucks more than your normal LinkedIn account, an account that triggers alerts to any market or job title having a change of people. So if you're looking to track down you guys when you change job, if you want to pitch to you guys or anyone else, then LinkedIn have got this mega sales account, which is not that expensive, but it seems pretty good. Tip for the SEOs comes from my talk: study consumer purchase funnels and learn to optimize for more than your own domain. Think much bigger than that. And finally, if there's any C-level execs in there, spend big on organic, because actually it's a channel that is not big just because these people in this room think it's big, it's because your consumers love it. So,
Fantastic. Big round of applause for Matt and his top tips. And finally, but by no means least, Jerry. And your specialist subject is? Don't worry. And your top tip is?
So my top tip, you can open up XML sitemaps in Excel. Literally just paste in the URL, and then you can sort it and group it and pivot table it and do all that manipulation and even colour it in.
An Excel tip from Jerry there. If you can have a big round of applause for Jerry and our four lovely speakers here. Okay, so who have we got coming next? I need 4 more speakers. Come on. Head in my direction. Okay, I'll start this side this time around.
John Hudson. Any others?
I'm running out of questions now. Where'd you come from?
Essex.
Cool. So, so John, I don't know where to go with that one. Your top tip, please, John.
I'd say don't just create content for the sake of it. Everyone, of course, is trying to do that at the moment for SEO. Of course, as we heard this morning, add context. Don't be afraid to actually commentate about the sector or the industry that you work in. So you're actually becoming a voice within the sector, and your consumers will see you as more of a neutral viewpoint. So although, of course, you're still selling products within that particular industry, if you talk about that as a whole and offer your opinion and put everything into context for them, they'll see you as a bit more of a neutral brand.
Big round of applause for John's tip there. Lucas,
Hello.
you can hold the microphone. I like your hat. A cheer for the hat. Your top tip, please.
So my top tip is my top tip is if you're starting to work in a company that already got a history of ranking organically, you can do something very easy to deliver quickly and uplift. So what you're doing, you're going to search metrics and you're doing to SEMrush. You're exporting the recent stats where your website, your client website is ranking. Then combining these lists into one file, then you're doing the duplication of URL, and you will end up in the situation that you will get on one side 200, 300, 500 or 1000 keywords, every keyword pointing to unique URL. If you can if you are able to optimize all this 1000 URL in a week regarding to the keywords you have, then very quickly you will see that the visibility massively going up. And that's the way how you can prove your new employee that you are a good SEO.
Giselle? This is getting a bit awkward here.
Culture change. Huh? Right. My tip is about outreach. I own a free blog, so I get pitched all the time, and I see this massive mistake with follow-ups. Follow-ups are great. We get really good results from follow-up stage, sometimes even better than from the first round of outreach. And the trend that I see when I get pitched is that people either will send you a forward email saying, did you get the chance to see my email? And they will do that 13 times. Or they will send a completely new email 13 times as well, and it will be like a sales pitch after sales pitch of one piece of content. So my tip is very simple. Play with your follow-up emails, because you already have the no, so you can try new things. It's good to forward an email, change the subject line, try something new. Acknowledge that you have contacted the person, but just do it once. Don't follow up more than once. And just to give you an example of what we do, in my presentation today I talked about an infographic that is called Gay Marriage Warm-Up. So when we sent the first round of outreach, subject line was very simple, Gay Marriage Warm-Up, in between brackets, infographic. When we did the follow-up, we changed that and we said, learn in which countries they would kill you for being gay, infographic. And the open rate went up, I think it was 17 point something%. So just play with your follow-ups because you have nothing to lose, really.
And interesting there, I suppose there's a lot to be learned from the email marketing world, isn't there? Because it's on that type of thing. So, hello.
Hello, Calvin.
And your name is?
Stephen Crew.
And I'm going to give you the microphone now.
Thank you. My tip is on combining two channels to create a remarketing channel for yourself that is highly targeted on Facebook. So if your company's been around for a couple of years, take all the emails of people who have bought from you that haven't bought from you in the last year, so everybody from a year backwards that hasn't been a repeat customer, and load those up into Facebook as a custom audience. What Facebook will do in the background is they will look for people who have signed up to Facebook with the same email. So if you upload about 100,000, let's say, emails, there'll be about 20 to 25,000 people who also signed up to Facebook, and there will be people, because you've uploaded them from your sales data, who have bought from you before.
and you can then market to this very warm custom audience. The second thing you can do is then create a lookalike audience of that. Facebook will look at the where the people you upload, their segmentation, and then they will extrapolate that. So they will grow your audience for you. So if you give Facebook a little bit of information about who has bought from you, basically just upload your email list, not only will you be able to remarket, if you like, directly to them, Facebook will give you a whole big audience just like them to remarket to.
Hello,
And your name is?
Laura.
I'm going to give you the microphone.
So my top tip is to get out of your own job and try doing the jobs of other people that you work closely with. So we've done this occasionally within Brandon 3 and with our clients. So for example, a few weeks ago when one of our account managers was on holiday, I took over doing his out of office and doing his job. We've done the same with different things. And it really helps you to understand the frustrations that other people go through and how they work, so that you can work more closely together. And it also works in the same way if you're an agency, going and sitting in your client's offices, doing your client's job for a bit. It helps you to understand the frustrations they have with agencies and helps you work better.
Fantastic. I actually have another microphone, which will probably be a little bit easier. My sign's fallen off as well. It's all going a little bit Doctor Who. Emma.
Hello. My tip is to use analytics to marry up the intentions via keywords that people have come in from search engines or your own on-site tool, a search tool, to then what they've interacted with on your site and what products they've looked at, even added to basket, and then abandoned, because understanding what customers have gone onto your site to do and then not done can be just as important as what they've actually then transacted with you.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay, so my tip is to prepare a tip when you ask for a tip, and also, so testing content. You can use really cheap usability services. There's something called Feedback Army, which is made for designers traditionally, but you can use it to quickly test concepts for your ideas. I think it's like $7, and they'll tell you if it's good or not. So in the world where content's becoming more important, it's really cheap and easy to test it. Just Google something like usability testing or something, and there's loads of different services that do it really cheaply.
Fantastic.
Hi. There are so many things you can do to optimize your website, so many aspects to SEO. My tip is to really think hard when you're getting your priorities. So that what you do is really full of impact, because if you try, for instance, to do on-page optimization on pages which search engines have even it's the end of the day. That search engines have no idea exist, then you're really wasting your time. So my tip is to make sure that the pages you're spending time optimizing are crawled by search engines before doing so.
Fantastic. Some more great tips there. Another big round of applause for all our lovely speakers. Thank you.
Hi, this morning I talked about where Google may be going in the future, but my tip is actually around still something that SEOs do, which is build links. And fundamentally, it's not so much a tip, but to understand that there is actually, in my mind, no such thing as a free link. And even though there's been an awful lot of talk around the fact that, with PR, with content, with infographics, we can get these free links, but actually it's still a transaction. You are still spending time, effort, design resource, development resource. There's still a cost to that. And actually, if you were add in outreach and all the other time, you need to understand the cost of all the activity you're doing versus the benefit that it's giving. Because sometimes people can say, well, we did some outreach and we only got 2 links. But if that was a designer for a day, a developer for a day, a couple of bits of account management, outreach for 2 or 3 days, actually that's an inefficient process. And actually, sort of the tip really is, as SEOs, we need to understand that it isn't free, and that actually we can make it a lot more efficient and a lot more effective by actually having an understanding of what the true cost of some of this free links actually are.
Fantastic. Big round of applause.
So my tip is to get a real view of the categories within your website, a search engine view. So I would say submit categories of your site as sites in Webmaster Tools so that you can get a really, really narrow view of how Google is actually looking at one section in isolation. You can see that the queries for that category, all the associated keywords in the content keywords, and start to really work at that sort of granular level within a particular larger website. So.
Cool, fantastic. That's really good. Cheers, Dawn.
Thank you. It's about this microphone. It bends if that.
Yeah. Oh no, it won't bend actually. That'll break.
Don't touch it. I'm Matthew. So in my session today, I talked a little bit about Google Pigeon, which is a localization algorithm where if you search from one city, you get a very different set of results if you search from another location or city or even neighborhood. One day I had a friend named Michael Cottam who woke up and was ranking #1 in many, many cities for independent SEO consultant. And he never targeted that in keywords, links, not in tags on his page. And so in backtracking that, this was up and around to Google Pigeon, he figured out that he was in this directory listing as an independent SEO consultant on this local directory. And that's kind of what we're seeing now with these localized results, and that you'll see here very soon in Google UK, is you need a very small number of links or citations, chiefly citations and local, to rank really highly in these localized organic results. So in some cases, you don't need to build a ton of links or even a link. You just need to be listed in the right local directories to get into localized organic results, not just in map packs or local packs. So if you're doing local SEO, that's a big opportunity.
Thanks very much, Matthew. Well, that's a really nice lead in here. Firstly, my favourite colour is blue, and I'm a Scorpio. Thanks for asking.
Sorry, I got bored of asking.
My tip actually is in relation to local search, and specifically getting your name, address, and phone number right. So I have a very simple message, and it's get your map correct. And Matthew just actually had a fantastic cue there. If you're finding that you're getting a duplicate listing in Google, this is my tip of the day, the chances are you have conflicting NAP information on different listing sites. So the tip for today is to actually go and search for the conflicting data, search for it in Google, and see which directories those listings are appearing, and then fix them. Don't add new listings to listing sites until you've fixed the old ones if you're an existing business. If you're a new business, it should be okay, but make sure that your name, address, and phone number are consistently listed across all useful local listing sites. Fantastic. 4 great tips again. Thank you very much. So we've got our final 4. I think they're right. If I missed any, go for it, Alina.
Yeah, I feel like in a karaoke.
Yeah, that's a great band, does it? I'll be honest.
Hello, I am Aleida Solis. I would like to share an anecdote that happens to me just this week. So since June or something like that, Google updated their recommendations, mobile recommendations, when moving from one setting, from one configuration to another. So for example, if you want to change the type of mobile website that you have and move from a parallel type of mobile to dynamic serving or to, for example, responsive web design, they included that you needed to do, of course, a migration to migrate those separate URLs into your desktop and now multi-device site or setting, but they included that the migration should be done with 302 redirects. This raised a lot of eyebrows, of course, as you can imagine, because we were used to do this with 301's permanent redirects. So a lot of people asked, we didn't got any type of definitive answer, nobody knew what happened. So last week, they updated the recommendations without saying anything to anyone, and they just removed and replaced the 202 to 201 again. Funny, right? So for this type of scenarios, for these type of situations, it's very, very, very handy to keep a very close eye on Google recommendations, Google guidelines, especially when they tweak a little bit something like, oh, paid links are now approved. Everybody starts buying links all of a sudden, right? No, it's a joke. we need to pay very close attention to what Google says, right? So use tools like Versionista or on Web Change. These are tools that have a free version, and you can track not only the content changes on any page out there, on any HTML or PDF even, or any type of page out there really, but also you can track if there's any change on the code. So for example, if your competitor too, not only for Google, but your competitor start using structured markup, and you have been pushing out for a long time to include a structured markup, and you didn't have the approval from your boss, there you have a case. They have just done it. So you just don't need to wait to see the positive effects on the SERPs, right? You quickly know what your competitor is doing, and you can keep a very close eye on them. Use Versionista, use on Web Change. It's going to save a lot of time. You can control better what is happening out there, not only in the industry, but also with Google. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Anita. Hi, I'm Jan from Amsterdam. I think Anita's point is a good point, but I actually went one step further. Make sure, as an online marketer, know what the search engines are building and researching. So monitor the patterns, monitoring the papers, and make sure what they are developing. I had a similar case in which I was aware of what Google was doing with microformats. So what I already did before Google accepted the yellow stars as rich snippets in the search engine result pages, built in the markup data, and make sure that once they launch it, I was one of the first websites having the yellow snippets. So make sure, be on top of what Google is researching, because what they will publish is probably already implemented in one of the next algorithms. Thank you very much.
This is a weird mic.
Shall I get you the normal one? I can do.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, I'm Dipesh Patni. So my tip of the day actually is really short. Next time you're creating an infographic, don't try to use data that already exists. Hire a survey company, that can get you over 2,000 respondents. If you get over 2,000 respondents, your infographic becomes newspaper worthy. So you're not just trying to put it out on social networks. What you're trying to do is get it into newspapers as well, and that integrates your PR with your SEO. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Andy. So my tip is something for everybody in this room needs to do first thing on Monday morning if you haven't already done it. And that's go into Google Analytics, have a look at the content URLs that appear in the behavioral area and fix them, right? So what you'll see is if you have dynamic parameters or bits appended to your URLs, they'll appear individually. And then when you start to do behavioral analysis for the content and for the SEO that you're doing, it becomes very difficult. You know, especially when you're trying to look at business value and look at the revenue that certain landing pages are trying to bring in. So go into the settings, get rid of the parameters that are unnecessary, look at filters to try and group content together, and then go one step further and look at your content grouping. And take areas of the site, particularly areas that you've worked on as SEOs, and segment those out as particular content groups. Then, when it comes to showing whether you've done a good job or not, it becomes a lot easier. You can just take that content group with all the URLs and say, look, that's brought in more money. That's my tip.
Thanks so much, Andy.
So my name's Gary, Capricorn, favourite colour red. Two related tips, I guess, from our study this morning. So think beyond the top 10. Our click curve study shows that people are scrolling, or users are scrolling below the fold more and more, and actually onto pages 2 and 3. So make sure you understand your own CTR or click-through rates for those users, and think about how you can elevate traffic for existing rankings rather than just constantly chasing positions. So think about your page titles, your meta descriptions. When I look at SERPs time and time again, I still see a lot of companies getting that wrong. So that might mean, you know, focusing on your CMS provider to make sure you've got more editorial control over page titles and meta descriptions, especially for those kind of headline pages. And then, you know, if you're a retailer, for example, maybe you need to think about a rule-based solution for deeper pages, you know, multifaceted navigation, deeper subcategory pages and products. Think about a rule-based interface to make those snippets really perform for you.
Thank you very much. A huge round of applause for all of our speakers here today. Thanks so much, guys.